Welcome to another session of KTV. I'm James Barrett Sterling, and we've been joined by a very special guest. Lots of new signings on the pitch for Hayden Bird, but one off the pitch this time. And I'm delighted to welcome to the club Mr. Nigel James, who's going to be taking over the running of the under-18s academy for the club. Nigel, welcome. Thanks for giving us some time. Firstly, how are you doing?
Yeah, very well. Thanks, James, for having us on board. But yeah, it's really exciting times. Looking forward to joining Kingstonian.
Excellent. How's the transition been getting back into football coaching after the most recent lockdown?
Yeah, it's been quite well. It was, it was nice to have the little break because it's been full on, non-stop. Doing it nearly 7 days a week, all year round, and so it was good to recharge the batteries, have a little think what we're doing, and in the meantime, it was the whole build up on having lots of meetings with Aidan at the club and looking to build the future.
Excellent. Could you give Kingstonian fans just a brief bit of history about your coaching career? Obviously, you're coming in to look after the under-18s. So youth football's obviously been a core aspect of that. Yeah,
I've been running my elite coaching business for about 17, 18 years now. We're based local in Wimbledon. And we have kids from as young as 6 all the way up to like 18, 19 now. And over the years, we run teams now from as young as under-7s up to under-18s. Where boys come in and train with us. Some play for professional clubs and they come in and do extra training with us. The last few years, I sort of like done my under-18s out of Abbey Rangers. Was there for about 3 years. In the 3 years, we won about 5 major trophies for the club. And the last 2.5 years at Hanworth Villa, we also done pretty much similar, like won I think 3 or 4 trophies. And we got to the second round in the FA Youth Cup that we went. We had a good run that we beat Dover 5-0 away at Dover, and then we played Gillingham and beat them 2-1 at their home ground, and then that was the end of the journey. But it was a fantastic time for the boys. I think at home we played AFC Wimbledon. There was probably close to like 800 fans there watching that game. And off the back of that, we've had some players that's moved on. We've got 2 boys that got pro contracts in Portugal. We had a lad that got offered at AFC Wimbledon. And because of the first lockdown and everything, AFC Wimbledon wasn't in a position to fulfill that. And that's a lad called Tio. He's now signed with Aidan for the first team. So we've got him and Declan, who's a centre-half, who has also been signed. And Brian, who's just come in and been signed as a left-back. So with the work that I've been doing over the years, we've always worked at clubs what's like, no disrespect to those clubs, Step 5 clubs, and the level of where the players have been coached and where they want to be at. We looked at it, and I've spoken to lots of clubs in the professional industry, and there's not many players that people take Step 5 football quite seriously. It's a level that people play on a Saturday, and there ain't much difference between that on a Saturday and a Sunday league. And the young players that I've worked with, if they can't get into a professional environment, we looked at it that the minimum level, what needs to be put in place is at least a step-free club. And where we work out of Kingstonian, the way how Aidan likes to play his football is very identical to how I've coached football, on being comfortable on the ball and keep possession of the ball, and it's not so much off a long ball sort of stuff. It's playing football how it should be played, and players being comfortable. Every player on the pitch needs to be comfortable on the ball, and hence why we went over, and there's more players in the program that's going to develop and be players for Kingstonian. So we'll be able to produce our own players, and if those players push on in the future, then it sort of benefits the club, and those players get where they need to get to, and everyone's happy with that.
Absolutely. I was going to ask, was it an easy decision to join Kingstonian? What kind of chats did you have with Hayden? You referenced there that you like the way that he plays football, and obviously the end goal for Kingstonian is to get these young lads up through into the first team. So what's your working relationship together going to be moving forwards?
Yeah, our work relationship's going to be, I'm going to be there to support Aidan on and off the pitch as much as he needs my input, and I'll be going to as much games as I can to support him with that, and doing stuff off the pitch, and doing match reports, going looking at players. But the most things that I'll be doing is getting the younger players ready, and with ones needs to go on loan, I'll be sort of managing that part of it, so Aidan could really just focus on the first team, and the senior players and the younger players, that'll be me sort of getting them ready for him for selection.
Cool. Yeah, obviously we reported a couple of weeks ago about Brian joining the club, and obviously he'd had previous experience at Hamworth Villa and at your academy as well. Could you just give us a little oversight as to what he might bring to the table, because he's someone that I've not heard of before?
Yeah, Brian, in his younger days, was an academy player at AFC Wimbledon, and then after that, he sort of found his way over to working with us. He was a player that played on the wing. For my youth sides that we had, I had Brian playing as a winger on both sides. He's played centre midfield, he's played centre back, he's played right back. And for Brian, we looked to push on. Brian will be very comfortable playing in a left back position, with lots of energy. He's a great athlete that will get up and down the pitch for over 90 minutes. You know, he's got the energy, he's got great technique, and his personality is a dream. He's someone that will get on with everybody, doesn't have no chip in his bone. He loves his sports, he loves his football, and he's just a great lad. To be honest, all three of them are really, really special boys that will fit into the Kingstonian family, and just grow from there. So they're not high maintenance, they're great kids from great families that supports them, and these are turned into young men that know exactly what they want out of the game.
Excellent. I mean, I'm struggling to think. Great energy, gets up and down the pitch, can play left back, right back, going forward. It sounds a bit like someone else that you might be closely related with. Now, obviously, you've coached probably thousands of young players throughout your career, but you've got not one but two children, you know, that you've brought and raised up, and they're both now full-time professional footballers. So obviously, the main one being Reece James, that everyone might know, the Chelsea fullback, and also Manchester United women's striker Lauren James as well. I mean, can you even try to describe how proud you are of both of their careers today? And if you can't, I'm asking you to anyway, please.
Yeah, it's a huge achievement. It's been, when people look at it, they see where the kids are, but believe me, that the journey just to get to where they are, and they're at the beginning of this journey. It takes a decade with a lot of dedication and work ethic and ups and downs and happy days and sad days, to sort of just get to where they are today. And when Reece came through at Chelsea as a youth player, one of the things for me was, we worked tireless to get him a loan move into the Championship, and that wasn't easy. Many clubs didn't want to give him an opportunity in the Championship. There was a few League One sides that was happy for it, but knowing the game and knowing how things were, having a feeling that Frank could have been coming in, the club was going to be on a ban. It was so important to get it right, because I believed in Reece's ability, and the player himself believed in his ability in being able to play in the Championship. And it's one of them things where you go in, if it doesn't work out, everyone could look and sit and say, that was too high. But it was a gamble we all wanted to take. And when we got the 3 clubs that got promoted from League One to Championship, and we looked at those 3, we knew their mentality would still be League One going into Championship. And off the back of having an Academy Player of the Year, and which just won the FA Youth Cup as a captain, and a Chelsea player, we knew all 3 would be a benefit to any of those clubs. One of the things was how I looked at the 3 of them. They're all was considered being 200 miles away from home in London, and all 3 of them was going to have their first season in the Championship. Going back was going to be a struggle for them. I turned around and how we looked at it, that for Reece to progress, he needs to be in an environment that's going to lose majority of the games. He has to get himself up, drive himself into the training ground with grown men, that it means something. 3 points actually mean something. With a smile on your face. You can't be this kid that you come from Chelsea and it's all glamorous, and you win 99% of all your games, and now you're going into whether it was Rotherham, Wigan or Blackburn, and it's rainy, it's not much sunshine, it's real. And all 3 managers at the time were great managers, know the game. And you had to have a young boy that had to become a man very, very quickly. And, God, was working with Reece, and he achieved, playing, I think he only missed 1 league game all season. And, it's just been amazing from there. And that sort of gave him the platform to sort of like be where he is today.
And of course, not just over a week ago, picking up the Champions League, which was a fantastic moment. Have you held the medal yourself yet?
Yeah, the funny thing is, on the night, I got Aspquita gave me his medal. I had that on, and who's the other one? And Alonso gave me his medal to take pictures. Reece's medal was stuck around his neck. That wasn't coming off. But I was round his house the other night, and he sort of got it and put it around my neck. So that was quite nice. So yeah, so he's 21, just won the European Cup. Unreal. I still can't believe it. And yeah, it's just unreal.
It's fantastic. It's really great. And your daughter Lauren is obviously a player as well, as I mentioned. Correct me if I'm wrong. First ever senior goal for the women's team at Old Trafford. She's knocking on the door of the England senior team, and she was the second youngest player to ever represent an Arsenal first team when she made her debut a couple of years ago. She's not even 20 yet. I mean, what's all that been like to take in as well?
Yeah, Lauren, she was, when she was younger, 6 to 12, 13, she was at Chelsea. Then we moved to Arsenal, and she went to Arsenal from 13 to, must have been about 15 and a half, and had some great times there. She was the first girl to actually train in with the academy boys, and it went very quickly for Lauren at the time at Arsenal, going in there training with the boys. They tried to put a program on for her so she could be tutored. I had like a bit of a day release coming out of school to be educated, stay in digs, to train with the women. And when you're talking off that, you're talking off a girl of the age of like 14, 15, working with grown women. So footballing wise, it was all good in training and stuff. But, when you're talking of grown women with a young teenager and stuff, she had to mature, and the other senior players around her, some had time for her and some didn't. And the new manager that came in didn't have no time for her. And hence why when the opportunity of Manchester United came up, it was something that we looked at, that Lauren needed to play in the championship somewhere to play, because the top division would have been too much for her to start off with. And United formed a team. There was an opportunity to go to Manchester. She signed for Manchester at the age of 16. Lived in digs with a fantastic family. Still in contact with her now, and she scored the first goal in the championship for the club. In the championship, and when they went to the Premier Division, she scored the first goal in that as well, and then also the first goal at Old Trafford. So she's done really, really well, and we see where the future takes her.
Yeah, that's all great stuff. So would the Nigel James philosophy for football seems to be, obviously enjoy it and take it seriously, but there are other things in life that you've really got to sort of take on board to make sure that you're on a level kill if it doesn't all work out for any youth player.
Yeah, absolutely. Your education. I've seen it on two sides of, both sides. I've got my daughter and Reese, and I've got their older brother Joshua, who's 23, who went through the whole system, and things didn't work out for him, for right or wrong. I've learned as a parent, we all think we're doing the right things, and I've made mistakes. He's made mistakes. The clubs he's been at have made mistakes. Not everyone's perfect, and through being around it all, I've learned, when to knock on the door, when to keep quiet, when to encourage, when to support, when to put your arm around, and you know. So when you have the success and when things is not going well, it's important that you could stay level-headed and don't get too excited. Just like when there's a day when things not working out for you, don't be too sad about it. So, and you know, I've put that with the kids, so they've never felt like there's a disappointment, them letting me down. You know, the person who they all know they have to please, and this goes to everyone. You please whoever your manager is, regardless, whatever job you're doing. Yep, your manager is the person. Yep, that you know you please them, and regardless what it is, they'll be thinking about you, and you become in their team. Not everyone's in their team, but if you do exactly what your manager wants and you do it to the best of your ability, and you've got a great personality that they could talk to, and you know, and gel with that, then I think you'll have a chance, whatever you do in life.
Yeah, sound advice, sound advice. Nigel, do you want to just give us a quick plug for the upcoming under-18 trials that are just fast around the corner?
Yeah, so we've got a group of boys who have applied, who's coming in on Saturday. You know, there's you know, there's boys who have come from, you know, a list of non-league clubs. You know, we've got local boys, we've got boys who's going to be travelling, you know, as far as like Hertfordshire, you know, Paul, Southampton, on, you know, the list of the name on where they're travelling from. And then we'll have a look at them on Saturday, and then they will join up with the current group that I've got. You know, the current group I've got so far without the trialists, there's about 45 players that we've currently got. With looking for other players to come in. There's a current under 16s for Kingstonian. Those boys have been in contact, so they're going to be coming in for a trial. So basically, we're going to give everyone the opportunity to showcase their talent, and for local boys to sort of like feel like, you know, Kingstonian is a club who's, as from the first team, is going in the right direction, and we've just got to get the youth structure back in place and have that going. So we'll start with the under-18s, and the next job after that is to develop all the other age groups right down to like under 6s and 7s. Because yeah.
Yeah, no, sorry, carry on, mate, if you've got more to say.
Yeah, that's the plans that I've got and the club have got. You know, the club's had that over the years, had a great youth structure in place, and that needs to come back, and it has to be better. You know, and that's what I'm here for, to sort of develop that. I've got some fantastic coaches that are with me, and they will be on board as well. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to it. I've met the chairman and a few of the board members, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
Excellent. Well, we wish you a very warm welcome, mate, and look forward to you getting stuck in and hopefully producing some results further down the line. But yeah, good to have you aboard.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Just a couple of bits of housekeeping for Kingstonian fans before we sign off. If you didn't already know, the Fossil Cup that was due to be played on the 13th of June has been postponed. Apparently there's some pitch maintenance needed at Colliers Wood FC, where the game was due to be played. The venue will happily remain the same, and a rearranged date will be announced in due course. Plus, now, exciting, we're only less than a month away from pre-season, and we begin with a trip to Meadowbank to play Dorking Wanderers on the 3rd of July. Tickets are only £1, but obviously in this day and age at the moment, they are limited. So if you want to come, grab one as soon as you can. and just keep an eye on www.kingstonian.com for more news and features as and when we get them. But for now, I'm James Barrett Sterling for KTV. Nigel, thank you very much, and we'll see you very soon.